Motor's mounted. Now we know what side the controller is going to mount on, and normally I'll just mount it out here, out on the side of the airplane here, making sure these motor wires aren't going to get caught up in the prop. So it's almost all the way back to the cowl line, back of the checkers. And I've already got the Velcro on the back of the controller, so I'm just going to have to mount Velcro on the airplane itself. Now I get this, it's Velcro. I get it from the hardware store. I've seen it at Walmart. Buy a big 25-foot roll of it. They have smaller ones as well, but get the industrial strength. It's pretty important to do that. I've seen guys with the regular Velcro lose their battery from their airplane, and you lose the battery and it comes unplugged. You ain't got nothing and it's crashing. So definitely get the heavy-duty stuff. And this is the stuff I sell on my website as well. A little package of this, and I'll have a strap that comes with it. But you want to cut off enough for just enough for the speed control, and then one just big enough for the battery. And my battery mount would be like so. Most of that surface of that battery on one side. So go ahead and cut your Velcro up now. One for the controller, one for the electronic, one for the electronic speed control, one for your receiver, and then one for your battery. So I'll go ahead and stick this to the controller, pull off the backing. Right down there, and go ahead and stick her down. And press it down, give it a good twist and a good press. Make sure it's mounted well. And then we're going to go ahead and mount the receiver. You can see here on my built one where I've got the receiver mounted, basically above the aileron servo. But once you got your aileron, your servos in there, your speed control, get everything plugged in, and then you can see where you need to mount your receiver. And I've got two locations for my battery here, a forward location and an aft location. And those are going to be for different performance levels. Go to the aft location if I'm flying either a heavier battery or I'm flying indoors and need more maneuverability. If I want to do smoother pattern maneuvers or flying in some more wind or a lighter weight battery, then I'll use the forward location. But there's your locations for the battery. And of course the center of gravity is marked on the fuselage here. And I believe it's 81 inches or 81 millimeters back from the leading edge of the wing here. And you'll just have to play a game, kind of maybe a little tedious, but you play the game with the wires where you're getting them taped up to the side of the fuselage real nice, so you have a nice bundle of wires. Some guys use zip ties, but I just use the leftover Blenderm hinge tape to stick all the wires down and make it look pretty. Alright, now the receiver's mounted, it'll be a little easier to play with the wires. Well, it's not my best wiring job, but that'll do. Just to keep them out of the way so they don't get tangled up in the servos. Then we'll go ahead and mount the propeller temporarily. And I know I've explained on a lot of my other videos about this little spacer on the back of these APC propellers. There's a little set of spacers here, and you're going to want to use the thicker walled spacer here. This one here, that's the one you're going to want to use, but you're going to have to drill it out a couple thousandths of an inch to get it over the shaft. If you use that one, it's just going to have too much slop, so you got to use that one. When it's still in the tree here, you can take an X-Acto knife into it like so, and just kind of run it around and clear out a few thousandths of an inch. Just kind of run it around, and then slide it onto the motor shaft. I've already got one mounted on this one, and I'll let it stay on the prop adapter, and then just when you need to change props, you don't have to go re-drill on that spacer. It's also important that on these props, sometimes there's some flashing on the back face of this prop. You can see a little bit on this one for sure. And we need to sand that flashing off of there. just real easily. You don't want to change the hub, but just take a couple whacks and you can feel that stuff's gone. Push it on there. Now I'm not going to tighten this up because we got to take it right back off again, but I want it on there for balance. We're going to find out where we're going to mount the battery. And like I said, generally it's right here in this area on the bottom, of course, on the side of the speed control. Usually mount it vertical like so. And remember, I had 2 locations for it, but we can go ahead and rest it on the top at the same location and check for balance. Put my fingers here on the CG and check for balance. Well, how about that? Just a touch tail heavy probably right there, so move it forward a little bit. Right there is probably perfect. Maybe just a touch nose heavy. So again, right there, just in front of the cowl line and the checkers. And every one I've had so far balanced perfect when I put the battery right there. And also be aware on this Velcro, it's adhesive backed, but on the instructions, if you read, the adhesive on the back does not reach full strength for 24 hours. So if you're gonna put this on and go right out flying, I'm sure it'll be flying, but be very careful when removing the battery from the airplane for 24 hours. I've actually pulled this Velcro off the foam if you try to do it too early. But after 24 hours, it's pretty much permanent. I mean, you can still rip it off, but it'll rip off all the print in the foam, where within the first couple hours it won't. It'll come off clean. Well, good. Press it on there good. And when you mount these batteries, it's really important to rest it on there, support it well from behind, and give that guy a good push and twist. Don't just set it on there and think it's stuck. I've seen the batteries come off, so get on there and give it a good twist, and that'll lock it in there really well. Let's go ahead and check. I've already mounted this receiver to this Model 5 here, and I'm going to take the propeller off for the setup. Go ahead and plug it in. First thing you want to do is your directions. Make sure all your directions are right, your reverses. I'm going to have to reverse the ailerons, reverse the rudder. Elevator's good. Okay, now everything's going the right direction. Next we'll go to sub-trim. If you're over 25, you might want to think about moving the servo arm on the spline on the other direction. If it's not mounting 90 degrees to the servo, it's mounting just a little bit off, try the other way. It's probably going to be the same amount of degrees, but every once in a while you'll get one that's maybe 10 degrees this way and 5 degrees this way. So, and maybe you have it here, and that's why you're getting all that sub-trim. So go ahead and take it off, reset the sub-trim to 0, take the arm off, put it on that side, and then sub-trim it the other direction, and you might use less. And use as little as possible. And of course, on this one, it's at least 45 degrees worth of throw, maximum rudder, so it's almost hitting the elevator pretty much, and it'll hit right in this corner here. About 45, 50 degrees worth of ailerons, 45 to 50 degrees worth of elevator on high rate. And then we use about 30% expo on the ailerons and the elevator. This is all on high rate now, 30-35%. The rudder I go higher. I'll go 60-65% expo because it's so powerful on this airplane. It gets a little touchy if you have less than that with that amount of throw. And then about 25 degrees on low throw. If you're just going to be tame out there flying around, about 25 degrees is fine. The motor's working fine. We can go ahead and put the prop on it. Make sure the motor's spinning the proper direction. Always get that really good and tight on there. And go in the right direction. So I'm just gonna go over it real careful now. Make sure that all my glue joints, especially on the wing wires and whatnot, and servo horns are all glued on. Make sure I didn't miss any spots. And this airplane's ready to fly. Well, I hope you